Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back inside the StreamYard studios for once again another exciting interview. And today we have Amber Terrell. And of course, before we get things started, first of all, if you guys want to get a chance to get yourself some merchandise from Liv Bailey or so many incredible other fighters, and of course, many more merchandise, such as, if I can never find a photo, like this one right here, then make sure you guys head on over to our Instagram page at The Fighting Now or check out our great friends at tmh.fit to check out so much incredible stuff as far as their Instagram and their merchandise. Okay, now without further ado, please help me welcome a woman who has been a part of the Fighting Now page for quite some time. She is known as the Muscle Mommy, the beautiful, the badass, the strong woman herself. Please help me welcome Miss Amber Terrell.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you, babe?
As glad to get, I'm doing great, guys. Glad to get a chance to have you on here. So, how things been going for you?
I've been going good, man. Business is going good. I'm getting ready for launch on Monday. So that's good. And then I'm waiting to hear from Johnny Ross about whether or not I'm fighting in March. So all good things.
A lot of great things coming your way for sure. And of course, not to mention, of course, we all get inspired by what we do best. Me, when it comes to interviewing, you, when it comes to fighting. So, what inspired you to start fighting?
Um, I don't know. I don't have like a crazy origin story or anything. I just was getting into a lot of trouble as a teenager, and my mom basically senior year like moved me away from everything. And so I didn't have my friends around, so I started just going to the gym. And within like 6 months, I was tired of lifting weights. And I like watched a UFC fight one night and was like, I think I'm gonna do that.
Hey, and of course, the UFC, and of course, many other different promotions has helped us become the fighters that we are today. And of course, not to mention that, of course, you train at Fitness Fight Factory with Johnny being your coach. Talk about how much they've helped you ever since you joined them.
Oh, absolutely. So when I moved up here from Houston, I had actually been out of the fighting scene completely for about 5 years, and had some crazy stuff going on in my personal life. And basically, like fighting is how I found my way back to myself again. And I just kind of chose Johnny's gym on a whim, and I went in there day one, and it was like instant family. And he's helped me so much as a fighter, but just being around those kind of good-hearted people like on a daily basis, especially having my son in that environment on a daily basis, like it's just helped me grow so much as a person, even outside of being a fighter.
I mean, I think this sport can help us out in so many ways that, when you go to a gym, they'll treat you like family. And of course, that gym has helped you become a part of your family for sure, right?
For sure, for sure.
And of course, not to mention that is that one thing about being a fighter is that we all have different things that we love about training. Some training parts are great, but then there's those one times where it can be the most difficult part about training. So, from your perspective, what's been the hardest part about training?
I don't know if there is like a hard part. I don't really have an issue with like being motivated daily because the gym has always been where I can go and just like shut off my brain. So there's not really like a hard part. I sprained my knee back in November, one of the like interior ligaments on my knee. And rehabbing that has been pretty eye opening as far as like doing just preventative measures on a more regular basis to prevent injuries.
Yeah.
So reminding myself to do that is probably the hard part because I'm one of those people that like wants to just get in the gym and go.
I really, really do love that. And by the way, you actually have a comment down there in the comment section, and the question from Ricky Taylor is, "What is your favorite way to win, by KO or submission?"
I would love to win by knockout. Unfortunately, being an atom weight and a 105er, it's not as likely just because we don't have as much punching power. I would love, love, love to win by knockout over submission any day, but I think submission's a little bit more likely.
I definitely do agree. And of course, hey, one thing I can say is tiny but mighty. That's the way I see you and so many Adam Ways that are doing so many incredible things. And of course, at the end of the day, we always have that one go-to. Me, when it comes to music, you could be something different, yoga, therapy, whatever it may be. So, do you have that one go-to after those tough days of training?
Just going home and hanging out with my kid. Like he's really what helps me decompress from everything. If I'm sitting there scrolling on my phone and he comes over and wants my attention, like just being present with him and getting those hugs, like that's what helps me get out of my head more than anything.
And you know what they say, the small it's always the smallest things that can make such a huge difference, such a big impact, like the way your kid has. And I really, really do admire what you're doing as both a mother and a fighter. And of course, another thing too, and this is something I've always wanted to get a chance to talk about fighters, is that this sport has helped us out not only just in a physical way, but of course in a mental way. We all struggle with mentally. Of course, me, you, we talk about this so much. But my question to you is, how much has the sport impacted you mentally?
I think it's impacted me greatly mentally. I think um, one of the best things about combat sports, especially people that train daily, is you're constantly having to go through that internal struggle of like getting knocked down and having to immediately get back up and get to it. And I think that that's a lot of people today are incapable of doing that. And the constant exposure to stress like that and just having to be mentally on your game, I think has helped me a lot in situations outside of the gym as well.
Of course, not to mention that, and of course, if there's anybody that's watching this or will watch this later on, one thing I can't stress enough is that this sport has made an impact on not only just in fighters, but of course in interviewers like myself in so many ways. I mean, I think Amber and I can agree is that this sport has helped us become a one big dysfunctional family. So for anybody that's watching, if you're struggling on a mental way, first of all, please go get the help that you need, and second of all, go and be a part of the sport, whether if you're being an interviewer or a fighter or just selling hot dogs in the fifth row. It doesn't matter because this sport can do so many incredible things. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. I actually made a couple posts recently just about how much being in the sport and in this environment constantly, especially as like a single mom to a boy, just constantly being able to expose him to like all of these positive male figures and male role models on like a daily and weekly basis. I feel like even being a single mom, he's gonna be okay because he has all of the positive masculine male influences in his life that he needs.
And not to mention that, and of course, to the women aspects of things, of course, if you are watching this and you're a woman who is struggling, first of all, I mean, you don't have to go and train to be a fighter. You can learn in so many ways. This can help you with self-defense. It can help you with so many different ways. And I really feel like that the women should be inspired by what you girls are doing inside the cage. I mean, you girls are kicking ass every day. And of course, like you said before, you're a single mom to a beautiful boy who is doing so many incredible things, and I really look up to you for that. By the way, I really do admire and look up to you. So, women, ladies, if you're interested, please go and be a part of any sort of gym, whether it be boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu Jitsu, whatever it may be. Because trust me, one I can tell you, it will help you in so many incredible ways.
Absolutely.
And of course, not to mention that, of course, as a fighter that you are, you have went through so many different opponents in your career. Do you ever have that one fight that's been the toughest ever since you started?
Um, I think there's a lot of fights that just mentally I was very frustrated with my performance.
Yeah,
Um, I think the Darla Harris fight was probably my toughest fight. Um, since I started training under Johnny, but I don't think it was tough because she was significantly better than me. It was just tough because I had a very, very bad night the night before, and just mentally I was exhausted already when I went in there,
yeah,
and I shouldn't have been in there, especially not with my headspace like that. So that is a fight that I still beat myself up about because I let things, interfere with what I want to do as a career.
yeah.
But there's a Grand Prix happening in August, and hopefully I'll get that rematch, and it'll go differently this time.
I was gonna say, I was going to talk to you about that. Of course, you mentioned the Grand Prix that Peak Fighting has just announced. You got yourself, you got Darla, you got Megan Pennington, which that's going to be a very interesting one. And of course, so many different ladies. Are there any ladies in that weight class that you're most interested in fighting in besides Darla?
Darla for sure, and then Natalie Salcedo again, just because anybody I ever lose to, I want a rematch. I want that redemption. I'm never one to say no to a fight. That's why anytime I get fight offers, I just forward them to Johnny because he'll say no before I do. But if Peak has that fight up for free right now on their YouTube, and if you want to know what it looks like when you're a dumbass that lets a black belt jump on your back a minute into a fight, go watch that. um, but yeah, I'm interested to get those two ladies back in the cage and get my rematch and prove to myself that it was, just everybody has their night. But other than that, I'm just excited that they're finally doing this.
I'm saying it's about time too. It's about time. And one thing I really love is that Peak Fighting has done so much for you, for so many incredible women. I mean, they just had an event not too long ago where we had so many incredible ladies fights. Unfortunately, one didn't happen due to, I guess, weight situation. I believe you know which one I'm talking about. But so much has happened there. But of course, shout out to Peak Fighting first of all. And who knows, maybe we might get a chance to see the fight between you and Megan Pennington. That would definitely be an interesting one for sure, right?
Yeah, I actually don't really know much, if anything, about Megan. I think she's talked to me before. She's very sweet from what I can remember. Um, but I think the last time she fought at 125. So it'll be interesting to see what that difference does to her power when she comes down to 110.
And of course, another quick question, which by the way, shout out to those who are asking you some questions because these are some really great questions. What is your favorite submission, and are you a black belt?
Um, I don't know if I have a favorite submission. Triangles are always super fun. Um, And no, I'm not a black belt. I am a purple belt, but I've been a purple belt for 7 years. So I don't know. I'm hoping maybe coach will give me a stripe sometime.
Crossing my fingers on that one, Coach. If you're watching this, give this girl a belt. She definitely deserves it. It's been 7 years since you've been on the purple side of things. And of course, if we're talking about submissions here, recently you won Submission of the Year from Fight Inside Podcast, which, by the way, shout out to them. You had this crazy submission against Stephanie Skinner, and we didn't know what was going on. Can you just take a look back on that fight and talk about what happened on your end?
It always cracks me up because people are like asking me how I did it, and I'm like, man, I like muscle memory. That's the only thing I can say is muscle memory because like the triangle that she had was not tight. I knew I could get out of it. I just didn't know that I was going backwards and throwing her into my own triangle until it was happening, and I was like, all right, let's see where this goes. Like my coach came up to me afterwards and was like, "Oh, you knew the basket escape," and I had no idea what he was talking about. Like I know what it is now, obviously, but I just once you've been doing jujitsu, I've been doing it since late side of 2014.
Mhm.
There's a lot of it that's just like muscle memory and just like playing around and figuring things out. I wouldn't advise to, try things for the first time in the middle of a fight, but sometimes it works. And it worked that night.
It definitely worked the night, and I got to get a chance to ask you this. Did you have like a holy shit type of moment at the end of the fight, or
Yeah.
was you confused about like what the referee was trying to tell you? Wait, did I win the fight?
Well, so the ref, you're talking about the Stephanie Skinner fight?
Yes.
The ref was pissing me off. And I don't ever want to be the person that talks bad about like refs or commentators or anything, but every time that like he couldn't clearly see my face, he was threatening to call the fight, even in times whenever I wasn't like turning purple or like having trouble breathing or anything. And like I would be like hand fighting, like trying to
Yeah.
get her arms off me, and he would like be yelling at me that I need to signal him that I'm okay. And I'm like, do you want me to stop defending and like give you a thumbs up or what? So when my head popped out of the triangle that she had me in, I like looked up at him and he was still just staring at me, and I had to point out to him that she was tapping. So that
Wow.
was frustrating, but no, I, so I like had it in my head that I wanted to like do the whole like badass stare down walk off thing. Like I had that in my head. That's my thing. But it was definitely like a mix of yeah, I did that and like holy shit, I just did that. Whenever I walk backwards, like you can see it on my face. Everyone's like, man, that walk off was so badass, and I'm like, half of that was just me being like, holy shit, did that just happen?
And of course the camera was on you, and what they noticed, like you was trying not to be like confused or anything. You was like yeah, I meant to do that. Yeah, no, I didn't mean to do that.
No, I'm an open book, man. I'm not gonna ever try to like have this facade of like, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. I had no idea. It just no one ever knows how the fight's gonna go whenever you get into the cage. You can have a solid ass game plan going in there, and then like with Southside, you can let somebody jump on your back a minute into round one. It happens. No one ever knows who's gonna win the fight until they get that hand raised.
Yeah, and of course, because of that submission, you have won Submission of the Year from Fight Inside Podcast. I mean, did you ever expected that?
No, it was super cool, and I mean, like you're the main reason. You're the one that pointed me out to them and got me in contact with them, and I actually was on a podcast with them like 2 weeks ago. So just the biggest thanks to you for introducing me to them.
Of course, because they messaged me and they was like, "Hey, do you know anybody that if you have any awesome submissions?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got one, and it's gonna blow your fucking mind, that's for sure." And I sent them the video. They're like, "Holy shit!" Like, yeah, your nominee is going to be added to the category. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. I'm like, let's let her be surprised about it and let's see what she thinks.
No, it was awesome, man. I owe you props for all you always do for me.
I mean, hey, we're a dream team. We're a team that can never be stopped. We're a team that can never be beaten. I mean, there's a reason why I call you the muscle mommy for a reason, right? And of course, hey, if you guys want to go get a chance to follow the Muscle Mommy, I keep forgetting that StreamYard's different. But anyways, back to my bullshit. If you guys want to get a chance to follow Amber, go follow her at Muscle Mommies on Instagram. She is the best. She is awesome, and she is incredible. And if you guys don't follow her, I mean, part of my language for those who are sensitive to cussing, but what the fuck are you doing? Like, go follow her right now on Instagram after you get done watching this right now. And of course, another thing too is that and I noticed a lot of thing too is that you've been fighting a lot at Peak Fighting. And my question to you is, what makes Peak Fighting so special out of all the other fighting organizations there is out there?
The people that run that company are always very, very nice. I have really good rapport with all of them. All the commentators I'm relatively friendly with. The photographers I'm friends with. Like, it's just at that point I'm like extended family to them as well because I've been on the majority of their cards for the past year. But also a big part of it is just that they offer the 110 weight division. Um, there's other promotions that have reached out to me, but it's always been for 115.
Yeah.
And me and Johnny kind of agree that like staying at 110 for a little while until I get that pro fight experience and jitters out of the way is probably the best move for me.
Yeah, and I definitely do respect that. And by the way, if anybody has not checked out Peak Fighting, go and check out their YouTube channel. Of course, they have all of your fights, and of course, they do so incredible as far as the social side of things. Go and check them out at Peak Fighting on Instagram and Facebook and other social media because they're doing an amazing job as far as what they're doing for you, Adam Waits, because they've done so many incredible fights. I think the first time I ever got a chance to check them out was because of Madison Gwen fight down there. And the moment I got to check out her fight, I was like, okay, I love the commentary. I love the way they treat the women. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they definitely deserve all the praise and all the recognition. So shout out to Peak Fighting for doing what they're doing for you ladies. And of course, another thing too, and that this next question is a really difficult question, but I'm going to head and ask you because I always ask all the other fighters. At the end of the day, you all want to be recognized for something that we do in the sport. Me, I just want to get a chance to shine my light to you and so many women on this platform, on Instagram and other places. But as a fighter, you want to be recognized for something different. So my question to you is, what's something you want to be recognized for during your time of fighting?
I don't know if I necessarily want to be recognized for anything in particular. I want to inspire other women and I want to inspire, the young ones that are coming up, and I want to show that, it's possible to come up and get where you want to be in this sport without having to be like cringy or talk shit or start an OnlyFans or chase clout or anything like that. Like, people like authenticity, and I think
Yeah,
we've lost sight of that in the sport a little bit because everybody's focused on being their own hype man, and I
yeah.
I want to be different. Like I'm humble as fuck at the end of the day, and I just want to do what I love and raise my kid and inspire other women.
Yeah. Hang on a second. I'm gonna delete this comment because we're not putting that shit on here. So be gone. But But another thing too is that ever since I met you, it's been such an amazing honor to get a chance to have you a part of this platform because I see how much hard work and dedication that you do, and I really do admire you for that. And one thing I can say is that for anybody who doesn't know a thing or two about Amber, is that she is the sweetest person to ever get a chance to show support. So if you're a page like the Fighting Now or any other pages, go and have her be a part of the page because she is the star in the making. She's been through a lot of rust in life, but she is a diamond underneath that is waiting to be shined like the way you are. And I gotta get a chance to tell you this, but I am honored for everything that you do for the sport because you don't want to be like an OnlyFans model like some fighters do, but you're being yourself, and that's all you can ever ask to be to do is being your badass mom self. And of course, I know this may be cheesy as fuck. You may end up screen recording this after it gets posted on YouTube, but have you on here though, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
You're a goofball, man. Not, I mean, like I said earlier, like I'm humble as fuck by a lot of regards at the end of the day, and like I think a lot of that came from working in the ER and seeing like very high end people on their worst day, in the same room as a crackhead. And it's just at the end of the day, everybody's just a person. And so I don't talk to anybody any differently than I would, the next guy until they prove me differently. So
Yeah.
if you never give me a reason to disrespect you, I'm never gonna be disrespectful.
And that ain't never going to be the case with me because I've always been on your
For
side ever
sure.
since I met you. I mean, there's a reason why you guys would see a lot of Amber on the page because she is that goddess I always call her.
You're sweet.
Hey, I'm honored to get a chance to have you on here. Before I let you get to your final thoughts or comments, the one thing I can honestly tell you, and this is something I've been thinking about last night, is that you are such an amazing woman, and I'm glad that we got a chance to have this interview. I've had the best time. I hope you had an amazing time for sure, because you know what? Without you, without so many other women, we wouldn't be able to get a chance to do what we do, to get a chance to look up inspiring women like you. So keep going, no matter how shitty the days can be, no matter how many times work can be really disaster at times. Just know you got supporters like myself. You have so many incredible opportunities, and this year, this is just your year, and I'm excited to see what's next for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And of course, before we get a chance to hop off here, do you have any final thoughts or comments you want to get a chance to say?
No, just, big thanks for coming out. Big thanks for having me. If y'all are big fight fans and you want to check out Peak, hopefully I'm fighting in March. If not, definitely April. And then it's going to be the Grand Prix in August. So y'all aren't going to want to miss that. It's going to be one night, 8 girls. You go down the bracket, and at the end of the night, one person's going to take away it all. So it's definitely something y'all don't want to miss. And they're also having, I heard, some bare knuckle Muay Thai fights in there as well. So it's
Ooh.
gonna be an interesting night.
It's going to be an interesting night for sure. And of course, I got to get a chance to ask you this: as far as bare knuckle side of things, do you have anybody that you root for as far as the bare knuckle world right now?
No, no, I don't honestly really watch it. I mean, whenever I started at Fitness Fight Factory, Johnny Bedford had just had his last fight with bare knuckle and kind of hadn't decided yet, but was, unknowingly already entering retirement. So I haven't really watched a whole lot of bare knuckle. They've reached out to me once or twice about doing a fight, but you get cut up a lot in there. I don't think I would have necessarily a difficult time, but I think it's going to be something that I venture into a little later in the game whenever, you know, I'm okay with not looking so pretty for a couple days.
Or you end up being a meme like Taylor Starling was after her very first fight.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
that's a worry as well.
it's crazy. It's definitely crazy for sure. And of course, guys, I cannot stress this enough. If you guys want to get a chance to follow Amber, please go follow her at Make a Muscle Mommies because she is a badass. She is a queen. She is a mother, and of course, she is a part of the page. And you guys are going to need to go follow her. Go hype her up. Go tell her that Jake sent you from the fighting now, not Jake from State Farm. Don't want to hear that bullshit. And of course, many other incredible things. Amber, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. It's been a huge honor. I'm glad to get a chance to have this interview. I don't know about you, but we had such a fun time, haven't we?
Yeah, for sure. All smiles from me, man.
Hey, that's what we love. That's what we love to see. Hey, I'll let you go. I will definitely send you the link in case you want to get a chance to make a reel or get a chance to make a post about it. Feel free. You're more than welcome to. And I will definitely message you once when I get done, okay?
Yeah, for sure. You have a good day,
Uh,
man.
you have a great day too, Miss Amber. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Amber Terrell who just joined us. That was an incredible interview, and of course, I hate the way the camera thing is, but of course, we got more in store for you guys because tonight, myself and Chrissy Long, yes, a MMA fighter named Chrissy Long, is going to be doing a very special podcast. The first episode of the Fighting Now podcast is going to be going live, so make sure you guys tune in. We're doing it at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 on the Mountain Time. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And of course, if you guys want to get a chance to follow me, make sure you guys go check out myself and TMH all on Instagram to get your official gear right now. So make sure you guys can follow me. But until then, guys, if you guys look at what you see, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. But until then, I'm Jake representing Fighting Out saying so long, and we'll see you guys next time.